So something a bit different today. I'm going to have a comparison between 3 different units by 3 different manufacturers that are all designed for similar size of rooms. So what have we got? We've got the 2nd generation Neat Bar, which is advertised as being able to support small to medium rooms. We've got the Yealink A40, which is advertised as being able to support small to medium rooms. And we've got the Poly X52, which is advertised as for medium rooms. So not the small bit, they've got the X32 if you wanted to look at smaller rooms. But all 3 devices are advertised as being able to support a medium room. So we're using these as our comparable devices, and I'm going to get them all hooked up on one of the walls over here, and we're going to have a little cross comparison between what the cameras look like, what they sound like, and you'll be able to see all 3 at the same time. I'll bounce back and forth between the audio, and we'll have a little comparison. So we've got our 3 units installed in front of us now. So our highest bar is the 2nd generation Neat Bar, and then below that in the middle we've got the Poly X52, I should say HP Poly X52, and down below there at the lowest point we've got the Yealink A40. So where we've set up, we reckon we're in the region of about 3 meters away from the devices at the moment. So they should all have absolutely no problem picking us up in this sort of space. We're going to move around a little bit, maybe stand back where the wall is, maybe sit on some of these chairs, see how the systems work in some of those different scenarios, and then we'll change the framing options over to each. Everyone has a different name for it, but effectively the people framing, symmetry, IntelliFraming, whatever you want to call it, we're going to swap over to that mode and we'll have a look and see how that compares for the devices as well. So at the moment, the audio you've been listening to is recorded on the microphones that we're wearing. We'll move the audio over to the Neat Bar at the moment. What we'll do is, as we move around, I'll bounce the audio back and forth between the different devices, but I'll give a signifier on screen somehow to make it clear which system it is you're listening to. And it's also worth bearing in mind that all of these devices can have an expansion microphone that you put on the table, but the Neat Bar in particular, it's worth noting that the expansion mic for that device is actually built into the Neat Pad that comes with the device. So that's quite a nice bonus that you get if you go with that device. The other units do have table expansion mics as well, but you might have to order those separately. So one thing we'll notice is we'll move forward into the closer seats now. And so these seats are maybe 1.5 meters away from the devices, so we're quite close now. So this will probably give a slight advantage to the other 2 devices, as the Poly X52 is designed for more medium rooms. Like I say, if you wanted to go specifically for a small room with Poly, you've got the X32 as an option, or if you're looking for a USB camera bar, you've got the V12 as an option, and they both have a slightly wider field of view than what the X52 has. The X52 has a 95-degree field of view because it's designed for slightly longer rooms, where the Neat Bar has a field of view of about 113 degrees. So you'll see our little confidence monitors down here below. You'll see that Ben in particular is slightly more on screen on the Neat Bar than what he is on the X52. And then down at the bottom, we've got the Yealink A40, and the Yealink has 2 separate cameras. So individually, you get a 78-degree field of view, but when those 2 cameras are combined, you get a 120-degree field of view. So you can kind of see the image is being stretched a little bit longer. You almost get like a little bit of letterboxing at the top and bottom as the ratio for what's going on with the image is stretched out ever so slightly to encompass both of those. If you missed that the first time, you'll see as we move back to the couches, for example, if you watch that A40 camera, you'll see it's gone back to a standard 16:9 sort of shape now, rather than being longer than that. And then, again, as an example, if I just move over to the back wall here, and so now, when we measured, we're about 4 meters away now. So again, all 3 of these devices should be perfectly capable of picking me up at this sort of distance. And I'll just move back and forth a little bit between the different devices so we can see how things sound in that sort of situation. And then I'll move out of shot completely, and I'll let those cameras frame on Ben. A40, trying to keep me in shot there no matter how far I walk.
Yep, so you can see now as Ben is off screen, that is framing just in on myself individually, and that is all three now. So if Ben moves back into shot, he should move back into group frame mode, and I'll pick both of us up again.
Lovely. So we'll do a little edit here, and we'll swap over now to put all the cameras into their IntelliFrame mode, and we'll have a little look and see how those compare as well. So we're back now. Took slightly longer than we probably would have liked to get to get this set up, but we're here now. So you can kind of see we've got the framing option turned over on the three devices. So on our neat bar, you can see that you've got maybe a slightly thicker line than what we've got on the Poly X52, and then you can see over on the Yealink A40, you've got the IntelliFraming with a little picture-in-picture below to give you kind of the room shot as well. And we'll move around a little bit, so if you want to stay there for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll move forward. And now, even though I'm sat a lot closer than Ben is, what we should see is that we're given equal screen share. And you can see, in particular on the A40, that picture-in-picture view kind of makes it really apparent that to the cameras, I'm a lot bigger than you are at the moment, but when you've got the IntelliFraming symmetry, people framing enabled, it rejigs that to make everyone the same size and make sure you're all presenting into the call. So if you want to maybe move to the back wall a little bit or something.
Yeah, sure.
See how that competes.
So standing up at the back now, should follow me around. And it has done. There we are.
So again, it's doing a good job of sharing as much of the real estate of that 16:9 window that's going out to the call as it possibly can, and making sure we're both in the call.
Yeah, and I'll just move into the seat opposite here. So again, we're both sat on the outer edges of the field of view here.
Yeah, so we're maybe 1.5 meters away from the system.
Yeah.
And you're, in particular, quite far over to the left of systems.
We're pushing the limits here.
Okay, so the 52 is struggling quite a bit with you there, I think, because of the 95 degrees. Do you want to just move your chair in a little bit?
Can do.
Maybe being slightly unfair to the X52 in that one.
No, yeah, straight away.
Lovely. And then I'll just move back one more time. And you can see how that tracking follows me on the different devices. It's interesting, obviously the neat bar sort of depends around and tried to follow me and did a pretty good job of following where I went. Versus the Yealink, well, that kind of does this slide the image in and out sort of thing.
Yeah.
Wait one more time. Just wait for everything to catch up. And there we are.
Yeah, it's more of a cut rather than a pan tilt zoom, isn't it?
Which again, a lot of these things just do come down to like preference of the way people like things looking.
Yeah.
So to cover off one more time, we've got the 3 camera bars set up in front of us, and the highest position we've got the 2nd generation neat bar. In the middle position, we've got the HP Poly X52, and in the lower position, we've got the Yealink A40. So if you're interested in any of these devices, you'd like more information, you'd maybe like to see how they could operate in one of your meeting rooms, then feel free to get in touch at info@istmsolutions.com and someone will contact you. If you're interested in any sort of AV integration, any meeting room technology, enterprise networks, or smart building solutions, then please get in touch and someone